Top Class Tokyo, a weekly podcast about life in Japan and the collision of Asian and American culture. I am your host, Kim Sensei, English teacher by day and by night, podcaster extraordinaire, broadcasting to you from Tokyo, Japan. Joining me today from sunny Los Angeles is my lovely co-host, Justine.
Festive much? Damn, someone's ready for the holiday.
I was so ready. I'm actually just kind of excited. This is going to be our last episode, like our season finale episode. So that is something I've been looking forward to this year. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm really proud of us. You know, like we made it, 10-ish episodes? And I'm just like, damn, this is something I did this year, 2021. All right. I accomplished things. But yeah, so like we have actual anime content for our season finale of Top Class Tokyo. Many developments, many interesting developments have happened in the anime sphere this season, which I feel like is actually ending on both a high note for animation and low note for simultaneously. So there's just been like the highs have been high and the lows have been low for 2021 for anime weeb fans. So yes, we have several things on the agenda for today's report card. Which would you like to start with? Which would you like to start with, Justine? Because I've been watching hours upon hours of Netflix this last weekend.
Well, I finally got around and finished watching Arcane, and yes, confirmed the hype is also a hype I agree with. Not just blindly following because other people said it's good.
Not
but
just
yes,
the
I agree
page.
with the wiki page would make it more accurate.
Yes, so we stand by the A grade. I think we gave it a grade last time. I think I gave it a grade last time of a solid A+++, gold star, anime.
I just had to go back and confirm that yes, that A I speculated it would be is still the A that it is.
Well, was there anything surprising about it that you noticed or like that you really liked about having actually watched the show from like just reading the wiki page?
Okay, I think now that I actually watched the show, I understand all the memes.
Really?
I was like, oh,
shit.
okay. And then I'm conflicted between Best Boy Victor or Best Boy, was it Heimerdinger? I was just like, okay, I have feels because you're this old man they just sent out the pasture, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck old news. We're here to fuck shit up. Let's make mistakes.
What memes? What have been the memes that like? What memes didn't make sense to you that you were like seeing, and now you're like, oh, like do you recall?
I think it was more just like recognizing the characters in the memes, because like now that I actually have. I invested in that relationship of knowing these characters. I'm like, oh, I know you had sad stuff happen to you. Oh, feels. Oh. So I made the mistake of humanizing these characters, and now I'm invested in them.
Oh, I can't wait for season 2 of Top Class Tokyo. And then we can catch up with Arcane part 2. So that's gonna be awesome.
No, but it sucks though, because it's supposed to come out like not in 2022.
That's right.
So we got to
so
suffer
right.
for like a couple years and be like,
yeah, that's right. They're gonna milk it for all of 2022, and I feel like I give them a year's break, man. Like, good job, pat on the back. Like, you deserve a break after that shit.
Yeah.
Like, holy
and
shit.
it's like I feel like I'd rather have them take their time making it than doing fucking Game of Thrones bullshit and just
I'm like
shit show for the last 3 seasons.
Don't rush quality, man. Like, I will wait. Yeah, everyone is like, you deserve this break. So just like earn this vacation. Yes.
But yes, aside from Arcane, which I confirmed with the A, I also had the liberty of burning my eyes with Cowboy Bebop live action.
Here it is. Here
Fuck
it
those
is.
guys. Fuck them. But like,
Cowboy Bebop. Oh.
but I'm like, I heard the news that they totally canceled that shit, and
Yeah,
just like,
they
hell yeah, they
did.
should have.
What a
Good job,
shit
Netflix.
show.
Thank you.
Oh my god. And I don't know why. I think it was seriously like the fan reaction of just how fans just dragged the show after it dropped, and I was just like, It was so disappointing as one of my favorite animes of all time.
Okay, let's do a comparison. Cowboy Bebop live action or Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. Which one was shittier?
You're talking about the Avatar, the live action movie with M. Night Shyamalan that he directed. You're talking about that one? When they mispronounce Aang's name as like Ong, and like they completely whitewash the cast, and like they like change the physics of firebending and all that. Like they changed the rules of how bending works, and it was just like so many unnecessary changes. It's almost on the same level of sacrilegious like blasphemy, just like taking something so precious that fans hold so dear to their hearts and just ripping the soul out of it. I don't know which is worse. I kind of feel like, honestly, Avatar: The Last Airbender was the worst remake.
Agreed, but I only feel that because I invested into that show. Like, that was my childhood. Cowboy Bebop, I wasn't as attached, but I was like, just from a cinematic perspective, I was like, man, this shit's trash.
Yeah.
Like, I get it if they're trying to make it all like campy fight scenes and like old school kung fu, but it's like, no, this is no, stop.
Yeah,
So,
like I've actually watched more content of YouTubers doing in-depth reviews and analysis of the Cowboy Bebop series than I have spent actually watching the live action remake of Cowboy Bebop, because I only watched the first episode and I couldn't handle any more than that, and I feel like that was enough for me to just inform me of where the show was going and the tone of it. And oh man.
No, same. I feel you.
Oh god, I didn't have the heart to, watch it all the way through, because I was already spoiled with everyone complaining about, Ed's like secret scene at the end of the series, and I was just like, oh, I don't think I can suffer through 10 hours just to, like,
so did they actually show Ed? Like,
yes.
I just want to see what Ed looks like.
Yeah, they did. How many episodes did you watch?
1. That's all I needed. I was like, oh no.
Yes, I was like, so many missteps in just a single episode, and there was just like, I can't believe how. See, like, this is what made the Cowboy Bebop remake better than the Avatar: The Last Airbender remake, in my opinion, is that the likenesses were amazing. Likenesses, they like, if you were just judging this on like the trailer and just the visuals, John Cho nails it. Jet Black, I forget the actor's name. Nails it. And like, if you took a picture of maybe Faye, like, from the waist up, I could let it slide. Like, I could let it slide. I'm like, I don't mind. They did waist up, she's okay. Waist down, I don't appreciate the combat boots and so, yeah, I feel like, and then like, even just like, they nailed the character likeness, and they actually cast at least two, like, they actually cast Jet and Spike well. And I thought that their acting scenes were amazing. As I predicted, I was like, I knew John Cho could pull this off because he's an amazing actor. And, he brings, A tier quality content to whatever he does. So I knew that it would have an uneven tone because I wasn't sure if the rest of the production could hold it together. And that was that fear, you know, came true kind of as soon as the script started talking. And like, oh god, it was so painful to watch. The first episode started in a casino, but does not do a goddamn thing to introduce Faye in that first scene. And I'm like, what a fucking lost opportunity to introduce a character and not use the casino set to introduce Faye's storyline. And I was just like, what a disaster. It was such a train wreck because, and there's been so many people already complaining about Faye's character, and honestly, I think it's the biggest thing. I think it was the biggest hole that sunk the ship for Cowboy Bebop is how badly they fucked up Faye's character. If they really, I feel like, you know, the reasoning that I've heard that they changed her storyline around was because like American audiences are, you know, want everything up front and they want all the main characters introduced, you know, all in the first episode. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You started with the casino scene. Why didn't Faye come in right away? She doesn't come in until halfway through the first episode. And it's actually a fucking combat scene where it's her and Spike competing for the same bounty. And I'm like, I went back and rewatched the first episode of Cowboy Bebop. Actually, no, I didn't watch the first episode. I rewatched Faye's first episode, which is episode 3 of Cowboy Bebop, to really understand like how Faye was introduced in the original series. And okay, so like in the original series, she has her own like spotlight where you kind of understand, okay, she's also somebody that's running from the law who has a bounty on herself. And so it's not introducing her as a bounty hunter, it's actually introducing her as a bounty herself, which I thought was really interesting. And it's not like she's Spike's competition. So I thought that was one misstep already from the get-go. Second misstep for introducing Faye is that she's not a combat character. She doesn't fight. She can shoot guns, but she doesn't have like the same kung fu skills as Spike, hand-to-hand combat. She was never meant to be this badass, you know, Vi type character who's supposed to like, you know, be super, you know, tough and like could take hits and all this shit. And I'm like, no. Why is she literally brought a knife to a gunfight. And I'm like, what the fuck were these writers thinking? This is not who Faye is. And I'm just like, how could you go so wrong? And it was just like the writers had this vendetta against a certain type of I feel like woman, because I feel like in particular it was like this hyper sensitivity to female characters appearing like quote unquote weak and like overcorrecting for it, that I kind of felt like was the direction of why they made these changes in the script. So yeah, it was just, I couldn't stomach any more than one episode of that.
So I'm glad the consensus is yes, Cowboy Bebop live action is still trash.
Yeah, still trash. I wish like you could just strip away all of the scenes with, I wish I could just watch it on mute. Maybe if I just watch it on mute, but even watching it on mute, like Faye still bothers me because she's doing things she's not meant to be doing. God, the sets were amazing. I kind of feel like some people were criticizing the action and like choreography or whatever, but I thought the special effects were really good. I didn't mind. I was like, I'm into cheesy science fiction action, and I was very happy. So
I didn't care much for the fight scenes though. I felt like it was very like, it didn't look very good. I feel like if they like tossed in some like more interactive or like more exciting camera angles, it would be make up for how like it was.
I knew they were gonna struggle because literally nobody on this cast has ever done action movies, like really, you know, honestly. And I'm like, I feel like they did a good job with John Cho's like stunt double, because they did all his shots like with his face, you know, turned away from the camera and like all the tricks. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they actually, I was like, okay, they, you know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. And I was like, okay, I can believe it. It's not bad. Yeah.
I think I was more just like, oh, I'm gonna go watch some like fan versions of fight scenes of Cowboy Bebop, and I've seen some really good fight scenes, like fan-made fight scenes, and I was just like, what the hell? Why are these people with zero budget can make better fight scenes than the actual Netflix budgeted live action for Cowboy Bebop? And I was just like,
are you talking about
whatever.
the one that I sent you, the link to that 7-minute one? Hell yeah, I will drop the link in the description. That one was fucking amazing. I wish that movie came out, that fan film came out last year or early this year, sometime in March. Before the series dropped. So yeah, and so it was written and directed and acted. Everyone on that cast had martial arts stunt experience. So I feel like that was really the strength of that whole production crew. And so I'm like, yes, they fucking nailed it. And I was like, damn, that kid can, why can't we have an entire series of this? And I'm just like...
But I feel like it was one of those things where it's like, Netflix bubble was like, all right, let's see what our demographics look like. Who has money now? What's the largest demographic of people who actually buy Netflix subscriptions? Okay, yeah, let's throw something nostalgic for them, so that way they'll like be super excited about it and get more subs. And they probably just like did it out of stats versus did it because they're actually passionate about it. They're like, all right, we just need someone to recreate this anime because anime is popping right now. So that's how I kind of feel like they did Cowboy Bebop 30, because it wasn't really there because the people making it were passionate about it. It was kind of like, all right, this fits the major demographics. Let's make a film about it so people will watch it and buy more things.
Yeah, I feel like you could have gone two ways in Hollywood. It could have been like, they picked the easy route, which is like, try to make the most money, try to get the highest A-list celebrity to play the leading role. And they did that, and they did well with John Cho. And it produced a lot of hype. A lot of people actually watched it. It was trending in the top 10 when it did drop, but there was no follow through, and it was just not strong enough to, you know, to really, it didn't have any substance to back it up, right? It had all the style, no substance. What I feel like the other direction that it could have gone in is that go with absolute no names and focus in on the martial arts and make it an amazing action series, which I'm not sure is something that Netflix has really done before. And I'm like, I hope maybe it kind of opens their eyes to trying something different and do something new, because there are a lot of martial arts films on the Netflix catalog. So I'm like, and just like, there's so much talent, new talent that just hasn't been tapped. And I feel like even in that fan film that we watched, I'm like, that kid looks like a young Keanu Reeves. And I'm like, this Cowboy Bebop moment could have been his Matrix moment. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it could have changed. And then Matrix, and you know, Matrix Revolution's coming out, blah, blah, blah. But Matrix 1, when that shit dropped, that changed. I feel like there was a huge shift within cinema when the Matrix 1 dropped, because it was such a twist ending, or not even ending, a twist movie. Because in the trailer, you didn't know what the story was. It was such a mystery when the trailers were running for The Matrix, because everyone thought it was going to be a straightforward action movie. The twist was that it's a science fiction movie. And The Matrix had done something that no other blockbuster mainstream movie had ever done before in America, which is really marry those two genres of science fiction and action into one movie that was so super successful that's just absolutely beloved by the entire, consciousness of like pop culture in America. So it's just like, it was totally groundbreaking, and it did so many neat things with the cinematography and with action, just innovations with a lot of the fight scenes that really changed the way that fight scenes are choreographed and shot. And I felt like that Cowboy Bebop could have been the Matrix moment for like the Gen Z generation. And it was fucking flopped by Netflix. Netflix dropped the ball, and I'm so disappointed because I don't know that Cowboy Bebop is never going to be adapted again. I don't think anyone's ever going to touch this property for a long, long time, because now that Netflix fucked it up, no one's going to want to touch Cowboy Bebop, because they know how high the bar is to satisfy the fans. And I feel like, if anything, I hope it gives someone the motivation to try to fix these mistakes, or at least gives someone, like, teaches somebody the lessons from the mistakes that Netflix made and how to correctly adapt something. I hope.
Worst case scenario, give it 10, 20 years and someone will pick it up again, because the generation cycled out enough where they forgot about that long lost mistake.
Right? We're gonna find some other beloved childhood series get fucking mangled by
let's wreck Care Bears. I want him to wreck Care Bears.
Care Bears. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just like all of my there hasn't been any. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to just new series at this point. I'm just like, why do we need to do this? Like, I'm just like, let's do something fresh. Give me something new.
I want them to wreck Care Bears.
They just don't make anime like they used to anymore, I think. I think that's what it is. They just don't make anime like they used to. It's quantity over quality these days. Yeah, so let's read Cowboy Bebop on our report card. What would you give Cowboy Bebop?
I'm sticking to the F, because I honestly felt like it was a waste of my time. Like, I could have stopped at the Wikipedia. I didn't even need to like watch any YouTube reactions to it. I was just like, this already looks like a bad time. So yeah, and then I watched it and I was like,
F is pretty harsh. Yeah, F is really harsh. I would actually not give it an F. I feel like because of the strength of certain actors acting, John Cho kind of redeems it somewhat in my eyes, but this is actually an ensemble cast, and he can't carry the entire series on his own. Jet Black, I can't remember his actor's name. I'm sorry, everyone, but Jet Black's actor, his acting was great. I thought, yeah, they had decent chemistry. I don't think it deserves an F because it looks like Cowboy Bebop. It doesn't feel like Cowboy Bebop. So as long
But I think that's where the perspectives are different, though, because it's like you're emotionally invested with the story as if I'm aware with the characters and their personas. I just never really was like, all right, I'm gonna watch all of the anime of Cowboy Bebop. Like, so from like me being a aesthetic-ho that I am, I'm like, man, this delivery was trash. The aesthetic is okay, but it's not like worth my time.
Yeah, I want to give it a D. I'm gonna give it a low D minus. I'm gonna give it a D minus. because I think I might actually watch the rest of the series, just taking my time with it, just giving me a little small doses at a time. I couldn't handle it after the first episode. I was just like, I just binge watched a bunch of other shit that I had to like erase my memory and just like.
And like, I feel like it sets the bar pretty high because I watched Arcane before I binge watched all of Arcane before I watched Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the shit I'm all about. And then I see Cowboy Bebop, I'm just like, the fuck's this? So I imagine that skewed my rating levels, but I still think it's F.
Yeah, it's a low D. I feel like it doesn't really pass, but I'm gonna give it a low D, not just above an F, because I just feel like I could probably tolerate it if it was on mute and in the background.
Because I'm all like thinking, what was another F tier thing that we reviewed, and it was like my husband's penis is too small, and I was like,
my husband's penis won't fit.
And I was like, okay, well at least it has like a interesting enough storyline for me to actually be like,
no, it doesn't. No.
You don't say.
No, it doesn't.
I want to see this penis not fit.
Now that you bring that up, and that I actually tortured myself with watching that entire series, I kind of I have to force myself to watch the rest of Cowboy Bebop just to like, as a fucking old school OG fan of Cowboy Bebop, I have to subject myself and sit down and force myself to watch the entire series. I will take detailed notes and rip this shit apart, and I will post this shit on YouTube. Just, God, I just gotta get it off my chest, you know, like, all right. I
think that's a good market to hit. People like hearing people rant. I like hearing people rant.
I know. I haven't seen too many female weebs talk about it. I've only seen like straight white male weebs talk about it. Really.
All right, let's hit that demo.
But I mean, like, honestly, the two that I watched, like Mother's Basement and Glass Reflection, their reviews were spot on, and I agreed with a lot of the things that they were saying. So, yeah, I don't know. They did like 1 hour reviews, but they covered the entire series in a single hour. So I don't know how much time I want to dedicate if I ever do like my own review.
How angry does this show make you? Let's just base it off that.
Honestly, probably gonna make me really angry. I might do a 1-to-1 hour. For every hour of Cowboy Bebop, I might have an hour-long rant after each episode. So. God, I'm so sorry, my fellow Cowboy Bebop fans. It's sad days. Sad day.
But it's okay though, because I was actually on a roll of watching animes, and another anime that my friend recommended me to watch because I started rock climbing recently was it's called like Sports Climbing Girls. What? Iwa Kakaru? But I was mostly just curious because it is an anime about rock climbing. And I was just like, okay, me and my art ho aesthetic was like, oh, look at this basic ass art style. But rock climbing. So I watched the first episode, and it's kind of like, yeah, the animation is kind of shitty. Character design is kind of meh. It's like your basic bitch anime, like if you look at it, it's kind of like, oh, this is like a low budget version of like Lucky Star, or a low budget version of insert whatever schoolgirl anime there is, but make it rock climbing.
Aww.
Like I liked it because it was like, okay, well, they do introduce a lot of like rock climbing lingo and a lot of like rock climbing technical skills related things, and I was like, I'm only there because I just want to see if they talk about rock climbing right, or maybe I'll learn more about rock climbing. But that kind of like, no, they do. Okay, for the first episode, I was like, okay, these terms are valid. They're talking about actual rock climbing terms. Okay, the technique they're actually talking about, it's legit. So they did some homework and actually know the lingo. So I was happy about that. But if I wanted to watch the rest of it, I was kind of like, I'd rather just read the Wikipedia because it wasn't pretty enough.
Does
But
it
that's
have
like
harem vibes or like is it more sports anime?
it's more sports. It's like your what's that basketball one? The Kureno basket
Oh, okay.
or like it's like that where it's like super intense like sports hype, but it's rock climbing.
This is such an interesting premise because I feel like there's just not a lot of female sports anime in general, and that they chose rock climbing.
What do you mean? What's the booty battle one where it's just like these
What?
Okay, there's this anime about these chicks that are like, oh fuck, what's it called? But pretty much they have to try to like bump the other girls off of the floating platform, and that's like some tournament of some sort, and like it's pretty much them just like smashing their booties against each other, and that's the whole premise of the anime.
I feel like that could actually describe a lot of anime. So like,
Yeah, I'll
I could
look for
probably name
the-
a few titles that could fall under that genre.
But I was kind of just watching it because I was like, okay, the animation's quite nice. Okay, the characters are pretty cute. This like plot is fucking stupid as hell, but hey, I'm all for fan service, so I'll indulge.
How many episodes of the climbing anime did you watch?
The first one.
Okay, I am actually really interested in watching this too.
Oh, good.
This is a
Oh, good.
really cool recommendation. So thank you for this because I also rock climb. So I also that I live in Tokyo and I've been to some of the rock climbing gyms here. It's like I wonder if they use the actual gyms here as models. So it's like I'm like this is kind of like research for me. I'm like, ooh, which gyms should I go to? And like I wonder if they talk about it. So
But I was kind of like laughing because I was like, what fucking high school has a budget for a rock climbing wall for a fucking gym club that only has 4 members? This bougie ass high school.
yeah, there's some bougie ass high schools here in Tokyo. I'm like, not just
With
no
full
joke.
straight up like 60-foot rock climbing walls for the student.
There's
Fuck.
some really nice fucking schools here. Private schools here in Tokyo. There's a lot of money here.
Well, shit.
Rich,
All right.
there's a lot
all
of
right.
rich kids in Tokyo. Is all I'm saying. Like,
But then
Yeah.
that kind of like made me think about, okay, what animes have other people watched for the sake of it aligned with their hobbies? Because I know, yeah, making animes about hobbies is definitely like a thing, like animation studios do. Because I remember I also watched how many kilogram like what weight what's it called? How many kilograms of dumbbell can you lift? And it's like the do you even lift anime? And I was just like, that anime was actually very informational about how to do like proper forms and like the science behind weightlifting, and I was just like, all right, I appreciate this. I like this a lot. So that is an anime that I feel like if you're like a nerd and you want to get into weightlifting, please watch it because you'll learn a lot of helpful techniques. I mean, it even touches about nutrition and how like it's really good. It's
Oh,
good if you
wow.
want to learn about nutrition shit, but also are a fucking nerd and don't want to go to bodybuilders.com. Just watch this anime instead.
that's so cool. Actually, that's also kind of interesting. Like, what are the characters like in that one?
I like it because the actual mangaka for it, they initially drew hentai. So it's all like
Ooh.
very like, okay, physique wise the aesthetic is pretty solid, and just like the way they drew people in the manga, because I initially started with the manga, then I moved to the anime. I was like, all right, that's some good muscle definition. All right, this fits the whole like the aesthetic whole version of me. Okay, we'll keep going. Oh damn, they're actually teaching legit weightlifting like technique and like just good information about if you're a nerd and want to know more about weightlifting or potentially get into weightlifting.
Dude, there's actually a really big like cosplay fitness community. It's kind of funny how big like these two Venn diagram circles, how much interaction like overlap there is. Because there's so many like fit cosplayers that are so into fitness. I feel like that is really something that a lot of people would be into.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
Like,
I don't
if
know
I
if I'll
had
watch that
to-
one because I'm a lazy fuck. But like,
no, it's okay. Okay, the
but I'm
animation
interested in
quality,
the hentai.
the animation quality and the character design is hell of a lot better than the rock
Okay.
climbing anime. Like,
Oh,
one of
okay.
the reasons why I moved forward with it, not only because it was lifting, but because the art style wasn't fucking trash.
All right. I'll check it out. I'll see. I don't know. It's
Bless.
yeah. Exercise.
Goodness.
Nice.
But those are like the two things I was like, I did nerd things this week. Let's talk about it.
How would you rate? So how would you rate report card, climbing anime and
Okay.
dumbbell anime?
Climbing anime is like a D because it doesn't fit the art ho aesthetic or aesthetic ho aesthetic that I'm all about. I'm sorry, I'm not
art ho.
I'm a aesthetic ho. Like if it's not pretty, don't grace my eyes, please.
Okay, so climbing girls D. All right.
I think I haven't finished the how many kilos you can lift anime, but when I did watch it, I was like, I want to finish this. It's not like Arcane tier, so I think it's like a B.
Ooh, that's really high.
Yeah, but that's because fitness ho and aesthetic, and because hentai artist.
Damn, must be good. Okay, all right, cool. So maybe I'll check that one out first.
Yes.
Yay!
Maybe it'll inspire to get gay.
No, probably not. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's a lot of anime to actually catch up on for this holiday season. I know what I'm going to be doing over my break. So just couch potatoing, just watching people exercise, not actually exercising.
No, but it's cute though, because the main character for the how many kilos is this like tan girl that is like, oh, I'm getting fat, I should work out so I can get unfat, but I really like food. And then it goes through the whole like how nutrition works. And it's just like girl same. We'll lift to eat, and literally that's her. And I was just like, I vibe with you.
Ooh, okay, that's actually really relatable. Tan girl who likes to eat. Okay. All right, I'll give that a go. We'll see. All right, cool. Anything else we'd like to talk about? I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get a single question for season 1 of Top Class Tokyo.
It's okay. We have a whole 4 subscribers now.
Oh!
We'll get there. I'll gas us up some more.
Yes.
Yo, I only see gains here. We didn't get negative subscribers, so I'm happy.
Yay! Y'all better still be here for 2022. Okay. All right. Yeah. So maybe next year Santa will deliver some questions for our Q&A section.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I'm gonna do. Well, why not? Let's here's to hoping our inbox will be full for next year. We'd like to end with some pretend Q&A. If you are hearing this in a much in the future, much later in the future, and you've just discovered Top Class Tokyo, thank you for joining us for season 1, our pilot season of this anime podcast, where we sometimes talk about anime and fetish and Japan and living
degenerate shit that I do.
Just degenerate shit in general. We invite you to send your comments, your questions. Please join us in this conversation. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests for topics you'd like to hear more about, please reach out to us on our social media at Top Class Tokyo on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, or send us an email at topclasstokyo@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay classy, Tokyo. Oh, class is dismissed. I gotta double up on my enda.
It's okay, pilot.
Class is dismissed. Thank you guys. Happy holidays. We'll see you in 2022. Bye-bye.